Joe, welcome to Scottish football. How pleased are you to be here?
Yeah, delighted. As I said, probably took a little bit longer than I would have liked it to, but no, I'm delighted it's finally done, and yeah, can't wait to get going now.
Is it something that you've ever had the opportunity to come to beforehand? Has it ever been close?
Yeah, just before I signed for Bournemouth, it was kind of a toss-up between the two, and yeah, obviously decided to go to Bournemouth at the time, but yeah, thankful that the offer came back around this time, and yeah, kind of just jumped straight at it.
What was it about maybe that time that wasn't the right time and this time that was?
I think selfishly, I always had my head once when I left United as a kid. My plan was always to try and get back and play in the Premier League, so they gave me the opportunity to do that, and yeah, it was something I couldn't turn down at the time.
That connection with the manager, having already played under Russell Martin, was that a real big factor in wanting to come and join him again?
Yeah, obviously there was a little bit of interest there before the manager got the job, but as soon as I found out that he was getting it, he gave me a phone call, and I was like, yeah, I'll be straight there.
What's it about his management style which suits you as a player?
I think he just sees the game how I would like to, if I was a manager, how I would like to play the game. So yeah, that was the main pull. But I've said it before, it's more what he is as a guy that you want to come work for him, not just the stuff he does on the pitch.
And what was it more broadly about this project at Rangers that sold the move north of the border for you?
I think with the new ownership, it's really exciting, and they spoke to me about where they see the club going and what they want to achieve, and I wanted to be a part of that.
And how big a draw is European football? Because migrants, we think it's something you've not experienced before. How big a sell was that for you?
Yeah, I would just say as a kid, you dream of playing European football. So got a massive game obviously coming up in a couple of weeks' time. So that's our main focus at the minute. But obviously, if we can manage to get through that, and as I say, a chance to play European football is pretty massive.
Joe, spoke to Tony Mowbray this week about you, and he was saying obviously that when he signed you for Blackburn, you were this guy who was such a powerful ball carrier, but he saw you last season at Leeds, you changed a wee bit, you were sitting a bit deeper, you were more of a passer. Can you just talk through how you think you've seen your own game change over the last wee while?
Well, I think it just varies on what type of manager you play under. I think when Tony signed me, I was raw. I just kind of got the ball and tried to dribble with it at every opportunity, and in that league at the time, it was really effective. And when he signed me, I managed to do that as well in the championship. So yeah, last season we had a lot of possession, so it was more of a case of getting on the ball and starting attacks. But don't get me wrong, I still found time to get the ball and run with it. So it's something that I'm keen to bring here as well. Now, obviously, I want to be both sides of it.
And as you say, obviously this Champions League qualifier coming up in a couple of weeks. There's not much time for the new manager to get his style implemented. The fact that you played him before, you know his methods, you know his philosophy, is that going to be helpful, do you think, in order to get the team to where he wants it to be for that first qualifying?
I think you can do, not just in terms of him, but obviously I can try and help the lads as well, because obviously I understand how he wants to do things, and obviously he's only managed to work with the lads for a couple of weeks at the minute. So yeah, if I can come in and help on the pitch with stuff like that, then I'm sure it's something that he'll be leaning on as well.
How would you describe that style, Joe, as someone who's played under the manager, and what he's going to try and bring you?
He's possession-based manager. From the outside, it looks like he's just playing pointless passes, but when you're actually inside it, you understand every pass that you make is kind of key. So, as long as we understand that as a team and the lads buy into it, then I'm sure they'll fully enjoy playing that style of play.
And I know you spoke about this a little bit in the interview when you arrived, but the experience of doing that last season with Leeds, so maybe a similar role that you'll play here. Have you had those type of conversations with the manager too about how he sees you fitting into this specific team and this specific plan?
Yeah, obviously before I came, he ran me through how he sees me playing in this side, and obviously I already kind of knew what my role would be coming in here. But yeah, just to hear what he wants me to do and how he wants me to play, as I say, it was immediate yes for me to come here and do that.
I know you've only had a couple of training sessions, but what do you make of the midfield that you're going to be part of, like Nico Raskin, Mohamed Dimandi and others too?
Really exciting. Obviously we've got a really young squad at the minute, so I think that was why obviously me coming in, they wanted me to come in with a bit of experience. But no, really impressed by what I've seen so far, and as I say, hopefully we can have a really successful season together.
You mentioned Man United earlier, so what was it like growing up there, or spending that amount of time at United, being part of that big club environment?
Yeah, it was brilliant. Obviously at the time then they were winning every week, so it was a really enjoyable place to be in, an incredible place to learn, some fantastic players around me at the time. So yeah, it just got to a time where I felt it was right for me to go out and kind of play men's football and as I did that, I said, well, I was touched on it earlier, my plan was always to leave and make my way back into the Premier League, and I managed to do that.
Who were the big influences for you at that point, Joe? Did you see you get talent all round about you, but who especially kind of works along?
Well, a lot of the coaching, the way that it was done at the time, we had like the coaching staff was set up from like the youth team was all about like technical and like tactical type things, and as soon as you went into the 21s with that manager, he was all about just men's getting you up and up. And obviously at the time, like players like Paul Scholes, Michael Carrick, people like that to look up to, and yeah, if you ever needed anything, they were more than happy to lend a hand and have a chat with.
Listen, you had to leave United, having not quite made out the first team, but has that always been a drive for you to get back to that level, a similar size club?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously leaving was never easy. I was there for 15 odd years, so having to leave was tough, but I knew it was the right thing to do for my own career. And as you say, big drive for me was to get back there and obviously try and play for a massive club again. And I feel like this is a club that I can, they are a huge club. So
did you go to like United Champions League games and stuff at the time? Think this is what I want to play.
Yeah, well, obviously coming through the system, you get given season tickets, so I very rarely missed a game, to be honest. Went to there and of all of them, and you see the atmosphere, you hear the music, and you get tingles just sitting in the stand listening to it. So hopefully being able to stand there and have that play will be a dream come true.
Sure.
Joe, who faz be demanding more trophies and forward every year? Have you had a chance to speak to some of your teammates that been here previously? What they told you about that? What you need to do here to be successful?
I've not had individual conversations with anyone yet, but you see from the outside, you can see how huge the club is, and it's built to win trophies. And hopefully we can come here and obviously the manager implements how he wants to do things. It will be really successful, and we can go on and win things.
It was reported when you signed that you had offers in La Liga. Is that right? And what gave Rangers the edge over that?
Yeah, there was interest obviously from elsewhere, but as I said, as soon as I knew that Rangers pulled call, and it was, as you said, wanting to go back to that with that big club mentality, they fit the bill for me. And as I say, I wasn't the manager coming in and getting the job. It was a no-brainer.
I'm quite chat about their mind. We talked about earlier when you had the chance to come here. Was that in their mind? I don't want to pass it up again.
I think so, yeah. Obviously, when I went to Bournemouth, I fulfilled my dream of playing in the Premier League, and then it kind of went the other way for me when manager changes and stuff like that. Didn't quite fit how they wanted to play. So this time when it came around, I knew it was too good of a not chance possible.
But you mentioned, Joe, you spoke of as a manager. What is it about him that you admire so much and you like so much? Is it the personal touch, the kind of arm around the shoulder? What is it that kind of sets him apart for you in that regard?
Yeah, I think, as I said, I've touched on it before. I think off the pitch, he just treats everyone the same. There's no one better than anyone else, and he's really good at bringing clubs back together and creating a fantastic bond. And I think if you want to win things, I think it starts off the pitch, and if we can get everyone off the field and with Starfell buying into the same thing, then I think he can create a real successful time.